Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about how to navigate this really intense period of time where we are peeling away from the last remnants of the dense, third dimension, toxic, dramatic, combative, negative, fear-based energy and kind of rise to the higher frequencies of our divine self. It is a process to live as a fifth dimension person. To live in the fifth dimension is to live in your spirit, to live in your heart, and to let the fuel of your life not be so much the thinking ego self, but the loving heart of you. So one of the ways in which to change that vibration that's troubling and stressful and toxic and challenging is to shift into the power of your heart and actually commit to living in that frequency. My name's Sonia Choquette. Welcome to my channel. We've been talking for months and months about how to rise out of the third dimension, to leave the ego turbulence behind, to connect with your spirit, to learn to actually experience being empowered, to experience being a co-creator of your life and the experiences and creating the experiences that you want to have, to feel that you're not at the mercy of everybody in crazy town who's just causing drama, but to experience, not just hope, wish, believe, but to experience a life where you feel empowered, abundant, healthy, energized, and basically contributing to the goodness of life. That's what this is all about. That's what my channel is about. Welcome to my channel. And if you're coming back, welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about making some serious commitments to living in the fifth dimension. Now, I do want to say that being in the fifth dimension doesn't mean you go into the twilight zone or that space aliens come down or that something about your life isn't normal. It actually is, believe it or not, the most natural experience, vibrational experience that you can choose for yourself, because the fifth dimension is deeply, profoundly committed and centered in your heart and living from a sense of love. Love for yourself, love for life, love for the spirit of others, if not love for their personalities, love for the joy of being creative, love for the experience of being alive. Now, this vibration is our natural vibration. And when we live in the frequency of love, we turn on all of our senses. The first thing we do is we amplify our external senses. When you're in love, you're present. You're not preoccupied. You're not planning for the ambush. You're not patrolling the borders trying to protect yourself from them, the others who are different and frighten you. When you're in your heart, you're open, your mind is quiet, your senses are heightened, you're available, and you are able to pick up energy that informs you about the environment that you are in, both internally and externally. You're able to, in other words, read life. You're able to read people, read the writing on the wall, read the energy and flow, read your opportunities, and make decisions moment to moment to moment that keep you in the flow and on track with you being and experiencing your best self. Now, life is not all or nothing. We are going to go through ups and downs, but when you start to work with frequency, energy, vibration, you start to pay attention and notice that you are an energetic being that creates, and that your energy is what creates, and that you have an influence over that energy by your choices, then you begin to shape your life in a very different way than just being like a pinball, reacting to everybody around you and being so offended that they're not making your life better. Now, this is the purpose of life, to come in and learn and not just learn about, but learn to be in charge of your co-creative energy, to learn to use your consciousness, your ability to love, your choices, your beliefs, your behavior to manifest and mirror back to you from life what you'd really love to experience. I think the biggest hurdle in living as a fifth dimension person is actually believing that you are that empowered, especially if you've had a very long experience of being told you have no power. How dare you think you have power, and being told you have no value, being told you must just follow instructions from others, give away your power, low self-esteem, which, let's face it, the majority of humans have been through that ringer. So we have to overcome that illusion, and that's not an easy one. So we have to start small. We have to start recognizing that whatever is happening in life, I can't control, but I can choose on how I want to respond instead of react. Now, I know this is difficult because I'm a reactive person. I can become very emotional and very defensive and very reactive if my sense of right and wrong is triggered. But I have learned that to react is to give my power away, and to study and discern and respond is to stay in power. So let's think about where you react the most. Is it in your relationships? Is it in a partnership? Does your job drive you crazy? Is your family pushing your every last button? Because that's good information. Where you react most is your greatest classroom. And the first lesson is to take none of that personally, and that's tough. You know what's more tough? Is to not expect it to be any different. Don't expect because you're becoming more conscious that the people around you will be. They won't be. Our lessons in life are to become neutral, discerning, detached, and to choose with our hearts the path of our highest good with conscious clarity. This is not a lesson for beginners. But if you're at this channel, you're not a beginner. So you have to decide if you're willing to learn. You don't have to be perfect. We're going to make a lot of mistakes, but you have to be willing to learn that you are empowered, that you can use your consciousness, you can use your choices, you can use your words, you can use your focus, you can use your beliefs. You can shape them to move in the direction of what you'd really love to experience. So we want to start with just, are you willing? I mean, that is the people who react to these conversations, who say you're full of baloney, this is nonsense, more smoke and mirrors, you're drinking your own Kool-Aid. I've heard it all. You could just read the comments. They're definitely a great, there's a, not a lot, but there are some who would certainly dismiss all of this and all of these laws and suggestions before they would look in a mirror and say, maybe I do have something to do with the way my life is unfolding. Maybe my attitudes, my thoughts, my beliefs, my words, my choices, my behaviors have something to do with how my life is unfolding. I have never had an experience where someone shifts from the outside. It all happens that you shift from the inside. When you've had enough disappointment or you've had enough irritation, something in you will click. Something in you that I believe is called your spirit will click. It'll say, I need to pay attention to this. And that is the beginning of your rise from the third dimension to the fourth to the fifth. Now, you don't want to pile it on and make this too complicated. My observations as a teacher and someone who has been a student of spiritual growth for my entire life is that we best proceed when we take baby steps. So our baby steps are, what would I love today? What don't I love right now that I can choose to do something different? Change is an interesting thing. I took a class in college about the brain and how it gets so fixed and locked in its habits that if you suggest change, sometimes the brain interprets that as you're killing me. And we're just ending a belief. We're not ending your identity. That's why a lot of people get all worked up about change. It's because they confuse beliefs and choices and perspectives with my identity. It's just like a movie you're holding in your brain. Your identity is your spirit. So let's work on how to raise our vibration and move into our power gently, very gently. I've suggested in the past in previous videos, and I'll say it again, start by acknowledging the things that have been successful. You know, if we have such a pile-on of life sucks and I'm no good and everything's rotten and the world's going to hell and it's so negative, it's a pile-on and it's too much to overcome. So let's start with the little baby things that acknowledge what is good about me. So I'm inviting you to start in this right now by putting in the comments, what is good about you? It could be that I'm a good cook, or I'm a good speaker, I have good hair. It could be I'm resilient. It could be that I'm creative. But find one or two or three things that you feel are good about you. I don't care how many mistakes you've made. I don't care what a train wreck of a life you may have created. By the way, my mom used to say, even if a train wreck of a life is your creation, bless your mess. You created it, so at least let's acknowledge that you are a creator. We'll improve on the creation, but let's not miss that you are the creator. That's exciting. That's a power. Next, let's focus on what your intuition is trying to tell you, because we do have an inner guidance channel, and it is trying to guide you, but it can't guide you over the noise of your ego. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to be guided? You have a higher self, you have a creator, you have spiritual master teachers, you have nature spirits, you have guides, you have healers. I mean, there's as many helpers in the subtle realms as there are in the physical world. So many helpers. But are you available? Are you available? How many times have you ever had a friend come to you with a problem and you give them this advice and that advice and this advice, and they just keep talking about the problem? It's sort of like a dog on a bone. You know, we don't want to give that up. There's some sense of me in my suffering that is really one of the things we have to give up if we're going to leave the third dimension. Now, I'm not talking about denial. I'm not talking about being Pollyanna. I'm not suggesting that we be fake. I'm just suggesting that we investigate whether or not we're willing to take charge of our consciousness a little bit. And if we're willing to listen to our heart and our inner guidance, which is hardwired, and just ask ourselves, what is my inner guidance saying that I'm ignoring? What is with me all the time? You know, inner guidance isn't like a jack in the box that comes in and out. It's a steady hum in the back of your heart that's giving you direction. So if you were to be quiet and say, well, what is my inner guidance saying? It's your truth serum, really. It's the inner voice that says, no matter how dramatic your ego is, this is what's true. This is the honest mirroring of what's going on in your life. So if you're willing to be honest and quiet and curious, you can get to that inner guidance. And you know, behind the first layer of inner guidance comes guidance from your angels, your helpers, your guides. Even you could start channeling if you want to, because that stream of guidance that is helping you live your most authentic life never shuts off. What shuts off is your attention, your awareness, your availability, your interest, your discipline, your commitment to taking responsibility for your life. That's the hard part, not getting the guidance, but making yourself available to it. So this is kind of, you know, when sort of the rubber hits the road, is to say, okay, am I willing to believe I'm empowered? Am I willing to take responsibility for what I think and choose and say and do? Am I willing to work as hard for my happiness as I want the universe to work for me? And am I willing to be honest about what I might be doing or thinking or involved with that's not good for me? I had a client who was married to a guy who was just constantly cheating on her. And she said, everything in me says this relationship is not good for me. I feel rejected. I feel humiliated. I feel left behind. I feel disrespected. But I never confront him. I never, ever have said this is not okay because I'm afraid of being alone. So I'm putting up with this, and I've never been more alone in my life. But the truth is, I feel sorry for myself because he's such an unfaithful guy. But instead, I should feel like, okay, tell the truth, take responsibility. He is who he is. It's really not about you. But if this isn't the kind of relationship experience you want, then be willing to let go. Be willing to step into the unknown. Be willing to change yourself. She's still negotiating that. But at least she's saying, I can't blame him anymore because even when we dated, he was a cheater. So he has been consistent. And I've been hoping that if I'm really good or really caretaking, he'll stop being who he is. And I know I've been with him because I thought I couldn't do better. I know that. Now, I really wanted and have said to her, and I'll say to you, if you're in a situation, whether it's a relationship or a job or some circumstance where you stay in it because you're afraid to let go, the minute you let go, the minute you're willing to say, okay, I would rather let go and be uncomfortable temporarily than to live this disrespected life, the universe will help you. Your higher self will help you. Your guardian angels, your guides, your master teachers, God, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, whoever you're working with, because we all work with our different guides, will help you. But the rule is this: the universe helps, it's like it says, God helps those who help themselves. Your guides can't fix what you won't allow to be let go. So this is a very big lesson, is that to level up, to be intuitive, to be empowered, does involve being very honest and a degree uncomfortable initially in taking responsibility for yourself and letting go of what isn't working without necessarily seeing behind it what will. That's called the definition of faith. What you can have faith in is if you don't let go, you'll just get more of the same. You can say, the definition of insanity, I don't know who said it, maybe Einstein, should have. The definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing, hoping you'll get a different outcome. Well, leveling up to the fifth dimension and living in this higher frequency, believe it or not, is not that difficult. What's difficult is letting go of the pain we're attached to. Now, what's scary to our brain is the unknown, and that if we let go, somehow that's tantamount to death. It is an ending, but it's the ending of abuse and suffering. It's the ending of low self-esteem. It's the ending of agreeing to conditions that are really debilitating. It's the ending of the third dimension, victim. And once you begin to let go, that's your part. Then the universe can step in. Then your higher self, your guides, your teachers, your angels, those prayers that you're praying can start working. But you have to cooperate. So this week our lesson is where can you be more honest? Where can you say, my intuition is pointing to me that this or this or this has to change. This or this or this, I need to change. I need to let go. I need to release. I need to find the courage. I need to own and be more responsible. It's a big request, I know, but listen, the benefit of this on the other side is miraculous in a very short period of time. Now, if you're afraid and you want some guidance, I have a beautiful book called creating your heart's desire. No, it's actually called, sorry, I wrote it so long ago. It's called Your Heart's Desire, Creating the Life You Really Want, which breaks down these choices in 9 basic steps. They're not my rules. These are the universal laws of creativity that my master teachers taught me, but are taught in the mystery schools, that are taught over and over again, but they are laid out in very doable, bite-sized steps. This is like a formula. What I'm talking about today is principle number 4 of the 9 principles of creativity, which is eliminate your obstacles. And principle number 4 is be honest, take responsibility, commit to what you want, and let go of what clearly isn't working for you. And you can ask your angels and guides, because guess what? Principle number 5 is the universe says, well, if you're serious about this, I'll help. So this is a process we're all eventually going to learn, because this is our biggest purpose in life, is to be empowered, divine, spiritual co-creators, really capable of creating beautiful lives, capable of manifesting beautiful lives, but they manifest in the heart. So I want you to think about this week, a couple of things. Where can I love more? Even if I can love a cup of coffee, start tuning into and tapping into and really channeling the vibration of love. The vibration of love. I love my pillow. I love the time in the morning. I love a hot shower. I love walking to work. I love a good lunch. I love listening to music. Just wherever you can find that frequency of love, add to it, focus on it, amplify it, because that immediately takes you to the higher frequencies, to the 5th dimension. Ask your spirit guides to help me. Ask your higher self, your creator. Ask Jesus, God, Mother Mary, Muhammad, whomever you happen to work with as your spiritual guide. Ask, help me be honest. Get out of my own way. Look at where I'm afraid to take responsibility or make a change, and give me the courage, which, by the way, is a word meaning let me come from the heart to overcome this. Share with me and share with the people who are watching this with us what your experiences are in doing this. What are you discovering? What are you clearing? How is the energy of love being amplified? What is it happening in your body and in your life and in your relationships? You'll get pretty quick results when you start to work with the frequency of love. It beams you up, Scotty, right to the 5th dimension. And you will have different interactions with humans when you're in this frequency right away. Stay out of your head. Talks too much. You know, the head wants to tell you what it is and know it all and blah, blah, blah. Just say quiet, peace, quiet. That'll be very helpful. And if you're fearful, go for a walk, sing, take a shower, sound it out in the shower, and just try to move that energy out of your body instead of stuffing it and letting it control you. These little bite-sized steps make a big difference. So let's just work on this step this week. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate your love. Use the love of this community that we're creating that wants the best for you too. And everybody, focus. If you're commenting, send good energy to all of us. That is a surefire way to take a super hydro speed elevator to the 5th dimension, is to be a loving force of goodness in the world and share that with others. So, and if you enjoyed this message, please give me a thumbs up. And better yet, if you really enjoyed it, please subscribe and tell your friends. Leave comments. We learn from them. And if you're here again, thanks for coming back. We'll see you next week. All my love.